Hi, it's me, Liz, again. Since I didn't receive any requests, I've decided to just start at the beginning and go from there. I'm filling around, kind of by myself, so if you have any input, feel free to send it to me. Otherwise, I will just keep going as I've been going. So today we're going to learn about how to make Book of Shadows. Now, many people have one Book of Shadows. That's fine. Some have two, some have three. Just depends. Me, I will have three when I'm all done. I'm in the middle of doing it. I don't always get done what I want to get done. I would love to get everything done and have time, all the time in the world to do it, but I do go to college, I work part-time, my time is not my own. I wish it was. So I'm going to show you a couple that I've started on, and I've been doing them throughout the years. I always get started and then something happens to where I don't like how I did it and I reorganize it. I'm such an organized freak that sometimes that's a bad thing. But I finally figured out the way I like it, so hopefully this will work out. Right now I'm working on two main Book of Shadows. The first one is just a regular journal that I picked up at Walmart. It has, I think, 400 pages. I think I bought it for $5. And as you can see, it's very basic. Not much put into it. And this is basically a journal. And what I do is, when I do a spell, I write down what goes on during the spell, how I felt about it, whether I believe the spell was a good spell to use, all my thoughts about Wicca, about my beliefs, all that stuff. So that's mainly what the first one is. It's basically a journal of Wicca. So that's the first one, and it's just my personal Book of Shadows for me alone. The second one is a little more formal and a little more crafty. I like to do crafts, so and I like pretty things. So that's what really goes into it. And this one is more of things that I will share with my family. When I have kids, I will pass it down to them. And just so you know, I do like fairies, so there are a lot of fairies in this book. And a lot of times I go on, and this is actually a picture by, I think, Jessica Galbreth. She's really good with fairies, and it has the phases of the moon. This isn't a fairy, but she has a lot of fairies. This is phases of the moon. She does really witchy type stuff. Jessica Galbreth, Amanda Brown, Nene Thomas, any pre-Raphaelite paintings, which I'll write that on the side in case you want to look some up. As soon as you see them, you'll know. They've got really supernatural themes to them. And the first side, like I said, I'm into crafts. So I use scrapbooking. The little butterflies and the stuff are scrapbooking stickers that I found. And then I've got the pictures. It says the craft and witch and blessed bee. And then over here is a pre-Raphaelite painting called the Sorceress, which I really like. And and I just have Book of Shadows. My Wiccan name and my magical name is Airmed, because she's the goddess of healing. And then the first thing I have in there is Before Time Was, which is a basic story about the god and goddess creating Earth and everything in it. And I really like that story. I really believe it's an important story about evolution and belief. So I put that in there first. And I've got a picture, let's see, I got a picture of God and Goddess, and a picture of the Earth with the moon and the pinnacle, so the phases of the moon. And I pick a lot of these, I pick them up and print them out and glue them. And then here's another fairy. And then I have the Wiccan Read, of course, which is quite long. And like I said, you know, I'm very into pretty things, so it's got a lot. And here's another pre-Raphaelite painting, and it's under the Wiccan Creed. The Wiccan Creed. And then I also have the Witch's Creed, which is totally different. I'm trying to let you see the pages. It's very pretty, and it's quite long. And the Charge of the Goddess. There's the part 2 of Charge of the Goddess. Part 2. And then I go into spells. I don't know if you could see that. I'm trying to lift it up so you can see it. And then I have love spells. Like I said, I'm very organized. And so I have the spells, and like I said, I found pictures. And I've got an actual flower that I taped there. And I got some scrapbooking paper, and I just cut it out, and I kind of like the look of it, so. So, I mean, you know, you can do a lot with it. You don't have to be artistic. You don't have to be able to draw really well. Scrapbook stuff works really well. You can buy all sorts of things. And it really works, and it makes it so beautiful. And you really don't have to be very artistic. And, you know, you can organize it any way you want. You can even, if you want to, just print things off on the computer, type it up, add pictures here and there. You know, use parchment paper if you want a little more of a feel to it. I use, this is just a sketchbook, and I glue things in. I have to go re-glue things in because I used Elmer's glue, and that wasn't necessarily the smartest thing I could have did. But, I mean, you know, there's a lot of ways to do it, and the more time and effort you put into it, the more you're going to use it, and the more you're going to love to use it, and you'll really feel like you're passing something on. And most people have more than, you know, the journal part of it, you'll probably go through tons of these, you know, because you're writing about your experiences. And like a journal, you're going to have 12 or 13 throughout your life, if not more, depending on how many spells you do. And, you know, while you're writing these down, you're learning these things. And, you know, you decide what you want in it. You know, I went through and weeded out all the love spells that involved people's pictures or names, because I do not believe in forcing someone to love someone against their will. Anything that forces someone's will, I don't want in it. I don't want to teach my kids that stuff. So I took it and weeded that stuff out. I will put my own personal spells in there. I will leave blank pages so I can add to it. And, you know, if this one gets filled up, I'll start another one. And I'll pass them on to my kids. They're great things that you can pass on through generations if they're well preserved and taken care of. And, you know, a lot of spells you'll learn to memorize, but, you know, it's nice to have that reference there. And it really helps you to bond and to kind of become more well known with the craft, because everything you learn will go into it. Now, the other book I haven't started on will actually be a book of correspondence. I will probably get a smaller sketchbook and put this correspondence in it, or I might even just get a Trapper Keeper and put the correspondence in that, because I don't necessarily think that has to be all pretty, because that's more about knowledge, whereas this is just more about things that I want my kids to see. And, you know, I'm very crafty about that. You know, some things I want to be pretty, some things don't have to be. But, you know, it's all about you. Put yourself into it. The more you put yourself into it, the more you'll enjoy it. And it's a long process. Like I said, I haven't gotten very far. You know, I've done this a couple times where I've gotten books and I get halfway through them and I go, oh, I wish I would have thought of putting that in there. Well, now I don't know, and I start all over again. I think I got it right this time, because the big thing that I was running into is I didn't want to write personal thoughts and stuff in my Book of Shadows that I was going to pass on to my kids necessarily. I mean, they'll probably read my journals, but I want them separate. So, I mean, I found that to be really nice to have everything separate. But you can do it however you want. Just put whatever you learn about the craft in it. So, that's that about Book of Shadows, and next time I'm going to talk about meditation, grounding, and centering, which you should learn before you do spells, because they're very important. So I'll see you next time. Talk to you later. Bye.